As part of the Justice for Aaron Brady campaign, we have always said we will call out sloppy journalism. And we do that once again here with journalist Ali Bracken, who created an article for the Independent newspaper on the 2nd of January. And the headline for this article reads, "Brady pals on US trip to dig dirt on key trial witnesses." Now, this isn't the first time we've had to call out Miss Bracken. I'd like to bring your attention to a video we created in January 2020, and it's called Sloppy Journalism 2. And it involves a situation where Miss Bracken created an article about the intimidation of witnesses in America in relation to Aaron's case. She mentions 4 witnesses, and we deal with that quite clearly, and how, again, serious omissions and complete falsehoods and untruths in that article. So we'll put that link up, Sloppy Journalism 2. It goes back to January 2020. So I'd be delighted if you could go back and have a look at that also. And then we'll follow on with this one. So in relation to this article in the Independent, I'd just like to take 3 or 4 paragraphs from it and deal with those paragraphs. And the first paragraph I'm going to pop up onto the screen now is from the article, and I'll just read it out. "A well-placed source explained, close associates of Brady recently travelled to the US trying to dig up some dirt on some of the witnesses who give evidence against him that might help his appeal. It's an attempt to discredit witnesses. They are calling it some kind of fact-finding mission, but it was the opposite. They are just trying to muddy the waters and discredit honest witnesses who told the truth. Brady's appeal was predicted and will be heavily contested." So there's a couple of points here we'll pick up on right away. It says they're just trying to muddy the waters. Well, you cannot muddy waters unless there is some mud there. That's the first thing. And discredit honest witnesses. Miss Bracken, you are more than aware of what took place in the courtroom in Aaron Brady's case. And I think we've made it very clear that these witnesses who give evidence against Aaron had criminal records in relation to drugs and ammunition and crimes committed here in Ireland. Some of them have mental issues. You are more than aware that an extradition warrant was completely made disappear for a man who seriously assaulted a doorman in Carlingford in County Louth. And you are more than aware of that. And to try to paint the picture here of honest witnesses is totally unacceptable as far as we're concerned. It's inaccurate and all the facts are simply not there. We move on now to the second article, or the second paragraph, and I'll just read that again. I've popped it up on the screen. "A second integral witness was barman Daniel Cahill, originally from Dublin but living in New York. He told the murder trial he had twice overheard Brady admit to shooting the Garda in Ireland while he was drinking in the Coachman's Inn in the Bronx." Again, Miss Bracken, I think you are more than aware of Mr. Cahill's associations here in Ireland prior to leaving for New York. And I am fully aware that a number of journalists have spoken to friends and associates of Mr. Cahill's in Coolock. And those journalists, investigative journalists, are more than aware of the situation surrounding Daniel Cahill before he left Ireland and reasons why he may not wish to return to Ireland. You are also fully aware that Daniel Cahill let it slip that Homeland Security came looking in his apartment for Dean Evans, the man who is in jail for the murder of Peter Butterley in a car park in County Meath, a crime Mr. Evans pleaded guilty to. You are also aware that Special Agent, Homeland Security Agent Mary Ann Wade let it slip during her trying testimony, shall we say, that Daniel Cahill was caught with steroids on the day he was arrested and gave a statement against Aaron Brady. There was also cannabis plants found in his apartment that day. Daniel Cahill was a legal alien on that day in New York, and yet he still remains in New York. None of that is in your article. There is no question mark in your article as to the validity of the statements given by someone who had definitely a series of issues to deal with in America. Else he might face a flight home of deportation back to Dublin. The next paragraph I put up again relates to Daniel Cahill, and I read here, Brady also claimed during the trial he was attacked by Daniel Cahill on St Patrick's Day 2015, which was vehemently denied by Mr Cahill. We say quite categorically Daniel Cahill was at 28 First Street, and he did attack Aaron Brady that night on the St Patrick's Day in 2015. And we have statements to that effect. And again, I am fully aware, or we are fully aware, that certain journalists do know that that happened on St Patrick's Day in 2015, and that Daniel Cahill lied under oath. So that again is the credibility of, and he was named as the star or the main witness in Aaron Brady's case. And yet, all these things hang over his head. On the day he was arrested in New York, before he gave the statement against Aaron, he hid in an attic for 6 hours. Is this the actions of an honourable and honest witness? We'll have to wait and see how that pans out. We move on now to the next paragraph, and this time we're moving to the bail hearing for Jimmy Flynn in London. And I'll just read out the paragraph. Within 3 months of the robbery, Mr Flynn and the shooter moved to the US. Miss Bostock said, just to let the viewers know, Miss Bostock was the prosecuting barrister for the Irish state during this trial in London. And she said, adding that he was kept outside of Ireland to avoid arrest. Again, that was contested. We'll not go into the details of it. Miss Bostock said he is someone who cannot be trusted on bail. Well, Mr Flynn was never ever on bail before in his life, so I don't know how that can just be thrown out there. However, and who has very, very limited ties to this jurisdiction. Bail has been refused on 2 other previous occasions. So again, you're very selective with the information you've taken from the trial in London. We know for a fact that Mr Flynn's barrister brought to the attention of the judge that Mr Flynn was approached by Special Agent, Homeland Security Agent, Mr Matt Katsky, and offered all sorts of inducements. Matt Katsky approached Jimmy Flynn in Belfast Airport and told Jimmy Flynn he had nothing to worry about, that the authorities had no need of Jimmy Flynn. And this is all on tape, a tape that was verified in the Irish courts. And there's more detail on it. Investigative journalist Owen Reynolds wrote an article on it. And again, I'll put that link in under this video here. So you failed to mention this once again. Very vital information that you just seem to wash away. And how can that be right? And surely when articles like this are written and the omissions are so, their silence is deafening. The omissions are just amazing. And we must be able to call your integrity into question here. Because this is a curated story and it's a manufactured story. And it follows a story that has been created by this judiciary and the jurisdictions here in the Republic of Ireland. And all we are asking is that the whole story is printed. All the details. And not just that curated part of the story, as I continually say, is being peddled by supposedly professional investigative journalists. Please, I ask all journalists, write the whole story.